few little problems, all right, lately, but I believe we will have him here with us. And let me just ask you this when we get started. What if you were to find out that okay, thanks, Steve. What if you were to find out that there are homegrown jihadists with 35-plus training camps here in America right now, and the FBI has been instructed by the Obama regime to stand down, and they are training to make war here in America like they're doing right now in Iran and Iraq and Libya. All right, we have Dr.Kent Hovind. Are you there, Brother Ken?
I am here, brother. You're a little low on volume on my end, but can you hear me okay? I hear you okay, enough.
Yeah, can we boost it up there at all, Steve? Can we bring him up? Okay, how are you now, Dr. Hovind?
Better, yes. You'll find out when you get old, brother. Your hearing starts to go.
I don't think I have to wait too long. Anyhow, listen, I heard that things went pretty well for you in your pre-trial, and I know they're going to start picking the jury on Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means when do you suppose the trial will be?
Well, it could be Monday afternoon. I don't know how long it takes to pick a jury, but I've only done it once a long time ago, and I don't remember the details, but they may have one.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a lot longer, especially in a case like yours, because, you know who you are, and my guess is they're going to really be very, very picky. I know. Now, I've been calling, and a lot of people have been calling your state, all your elected officials, and the only thing we've been getting back from them is, boy, a lot of people are calling on that. Have you heard anything at all from any of your elected officials?
Nothing.
Nothing? Well, that might be good and it might not be. But anyhow, where do we go from here?
Well, I think all I can do is what Gideon did, shine the light and make a lot of noise. I think people need to know about the injustice in this case. I've been an evangelist for many years, teaching on creation versus evolution, which strikes right at the heart of the New World Order and the plans for a one-world government that Pinky and the Brain seem to have. And so my message is indeed a great threat to them, and I understand that. It's not intentional. Unlike any man of God, you're supposed to preach the truth, and sometimes they kill you like they did most of the prophets in the Old Testament. I think people should become informed. We have a lot of stuff up on the website 2peter3.com. It's the number 2, the word Peter and the number 3. And there's also a lot of stuff on the free KentHovind.com website. It's Hovind, Hovind. So I would encourage people to pray. This is ultimately a spiritual battle. This is God versus Satan in the big picture. And so this is crazy. I've already served 100 months in prison over absolutely nothing. An IRS case against our ministry. There are so many injustices that need to be exposed. Congress really is the one who started the problem by passing the stupid laws, and they hold the answer by repealing those laws. They put me in prison for 100 months for structuring. Actually gave me a 120-month sentence. I was supposed to go home 2 weeks ago. Taking your own money out of your own bank to pay your own bills. If that isn't stupid on its surface, I don't know what is. This is just plain stupid.
Now, let me ask
Congress
you this.
passed that law.
Can you find that anywhere in the Beatitudes, blessed are the stupid? I mean, what will the stupid inherit?
I can't find that in the Beatitudes, brother, but I know some that qualify.
It seems like there's a lot of people out there that are holding to that doctrine. For example, our good friend Judge Roy Moore. Well, Russell Moore, the head of the Southern Baptist Convention, says that Judge Roy Moore should compromise. He should give in and obey the federal judges and not fight. And so, where is he getting that? I mean, that sounds to me like blessed are the stupid.
Well, our founding fathers threw the tea in the harbor and started a big war against an enemy that was 20 times their size and completely outgunned, completely outspent. and 25,000 Americans died trying to win this freedom. And now we put their faces on our dollar bills, and we're real glad they did it. But during that time, only about 3% of the population supported George Washington and the boys. I preached in St. John, Nova Scotia, Canada, and the pastor said, Brother Hovind, do you know the story behind our town? I said, no, I don't. He said, well, after the Revolutionary War, 30,000 Americans moved up here and started this town because they thought the wrong side won the war. Americans moved up there. So there's always been people on both sides. Dietrich Bonhoeffer faced this in Germany when Hitler came to power. Many German Christians said, well, hey, it's our duty to follow Hitler. I mean, he's the boss. We got to follow Hitler. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, no, resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. And Hitler's a tyrant, and you don't do that. And so the German church split right down the middle into two opposing camps, the German Christians and the confessing church. I don't remember which one Bonhoeffer was on, but this is this battle over what should the church do when the government attacks them is a it's been going for 2,000 years. You know, the Waldensians in France faced it. Just read Fox's Book of Martyrs. I mean, this is nothing new at all. And so my job is to obey the Lord as best I can, and I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to obey the law as best I can, and you can look at my long 20-year history of trying to obey the law with this IRS stuff. I don't know what they want. I don't know what they expect me to do. I don't know of any laws that I broke. And now these new charges have a total of 100 years of prison if found guilty for mail fraud, conspiracy to commit mail fraud, and contempt of court, and each of them 20 years. I think Congress needs to step in and do a full investigation on the original case that put me here in 2006.
I couldn't agree with you more. We have, again, this is tyranny. I mean, we have the corruption in the IRS is unbelievable. This is why when Ted Cruz spoke here there at CPAC, when they asked him what would be the 5 things that he would do, one of the things he said he would do is, I would abolish the IRS. And boy, when he said that, did he get a standing ovation from the people. And I think, you know, we look at the IRS today, and it's like the SS. Okay, in fact, a lot of people refer to them as the IRSS, and they've become like the SS. They become, upon the people, terrorists. They terrorize the people, and it's time for the people to stand up and say enough is enough. I'm going to be preaching, Lord's willing, on Sunday on know who you're listening to know who you're listening to. And that's because of Scripture. If we go through Scripture, a lot of people get some very bad advice from not knowing the enemy is within the camp. And so we see this attack from within often, and the betrayal too. It's like, for example, what I just was talking about here, Russell Moore coming out against Judge Roy Moore. And you've had the very same thing. Neo-evangelicals, it seems, have the tendency to turn on you in a heartbeat. And they have a tendency to totally spin, twist, and pervert Romans 13. For 25 years, I've offered, for over 25 years, Dr. Hovind, I've offered to debate any 3 neo-evangelicals on Romans 13. I have 4 mics in the studio. And you know what? I never got one in 25 years. You know why? Because when you open the Bible and sit down, and you start taking it word for word and verse for verse, then all of that cowardliness and all that fearfulness and all of the changing and switching and perverting the words to make it say what you want it to say because you don't have the courage to tell the truth. It takes off, doesn't it? Excuse me, losing my voice a little bit. So, Romans 13 was written by a Christian. It was written to Christians. Christians. It was written about Christians, and the whole theme was the mode of government we would have someday when Christians were in authority, and that happened in the infancy of this nation with the founding fathers. And that's what Romans 13 is really saying. Yet,
this call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
It's twisted, it's spun, and perverted because there's such a dearth of courage. What do you think?
Well, yeah, we're supposed to obey the law. I'm trying. I have obeyed every law that I know that applies to me. There's a tax on those who manufacture liquor. I have never paid that tax because I don't manufacture liquor. I've never even tasted any liquor or alcohol other than NyQuil. So, believe me, I am a law-abiding citizen, except for possibly the speed limit on occasion, but I won't go into all that. But yeah, I'm not a rebel. I think I love God, I try to serve Him, and I think I'm the good guy in this. And I think if anybody would look at what's happened, they would have to agree, wow, there's no law broken here. If somebody can find one, please show me, and I'll fix it. Because honestly, brother, I love the Lord, I love my country, I love our Constitution, and if anybody goes against our country or against our Constitution, they are the enemy, not me. My dad was in the Marines, World War II.
What's your name?
The only survivor of his platoon. He went and fought in the Pacific Theater. Mother-in-law fought in the Vietnam War. We love our country. And it bothered me deeply to hear the judge say those things in my sentencing about the military, when that's exactly the opposite of what's true. So let me call you right back and continue, brother. But please, have people go to 2peter3.com or freekenthovind.com and study this case, because this is coming to everybody here soon.
Okay. Call right back. Okay. All right, well, Kent's calling back. I want to remind all of you folks that tomorrow, Joe County Right to Life presents The Sweeter Side of Life. And we're going to be showing a video tomorrow, folks. And like I said earlier, what if you were to find out, what if you were to see training camps, homegrown jihadist training camps right here in America with radical Muslims training with high-powered weapons to take over America? What if you were to hear the governor of Colorado when he called the FBI and said, look, I want these terrorist training camps shut down in my state, and they said, can't do it. We were ordered not to. We were ordered to stand down. What if you were to see that? Would you realize then just how you have been betrayed by NBC, ABC, CBS, by all of the news media? Would you realize just then how your government has betrayed you? Listen, they are fully aware of these training camps right here in America right now today. And the idea is that they hope that you will never find out. Are you back yet, Dr. Hovind? So, that's tomorrow, and we start at the film will be shown somewhere right around 2:30, and that's going to be at 3200 Solon Road in Solon, Ohio. You folks here in Northeast Ohio, and it starts at 11 a.m. and it goes till 5, and we're going to have all kinds of good food. So come on out. Okay, we're back with Dr. Hovind. All right, we wanted to, you said you've obeyed all the law. Now, what was it that they said about the military at your trial?
Well, after trial, at my sentencing, the judge said, I think Kent Hovind is the head of something like an extensive criminal operation, and I think it's a disgrace to our military and the people that are over there risking their lives, et cetera, et cetera. You can read the sentencing transcript. Everything is up on 2peter3.com or freekenthovind.com. It was an excuse to give me way outside the guideline sentence. You have to justify what you're doing.
What in the world? Wow. What in the world would that have anything to do with the military and those that are fighting the war? I don't understand.
I don't either, but she said your crime is worse than rape. I'm giving you 10 years in prison. And I have served all that time, and I'm supposed to go home 2 weeks ago. And now I'm back facing another charge with the same judge in the same courtroom and the same prosecutors. I was talking to Rudy Davis, who keeps a lot of stuff posted on is a Lone Star 1776 channel. People want to watch that. Every time I've gone to court, every time, even if it's just a hearing on, the upcoming trial, are we ready? The IRS agents are sitting there at the table. And they put in a motion saying we'd like them to be able to sit here at the table during trial. But they're also going to be witnesses. They did last time. They sat there right at the table with the prosecutor, and they were witnesses against me in trial. Well, all witnesses are excluded, except them. I said to Ernie, I said to Rudy, I said, this is obviously for two reasons. This is wrong for multiple reasons. No witness gets to listen to the other testimony. That's not fair, but they do it with the IRS. And this is an obvious intimidation.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Boy, that woman has an irritating voice. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. This has to influence the judge and the jury and the U.S. attorney, with an IRS agent sitting there with a subtle message, hint, 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 I can audit you next year if you don't vote right. Hint, hint. Hello, anybody with one eye and half a brain can see that's not right. They should be excluded, but I guarantee they'll be there. Somebody needs to get on Congress and say, look, would you guys do your job? Stop these stupid laws, okay? Repeal the structuring law. The IRS last week apologized for using structuring laws to seize people's money, which they've been doing ever since my case. Okay, they just will say, oh, you're taking money out of your own bank in less than $10,000 amounts, let's go seize it. And so they apologized and said they're going to change their policy. Well, yay, that's a smokescreen. That is not the solution. They don't need to apologize. They need to repeal the law and make it retroactive and refund everybody's money they've ever taken and let everybody out of jail for structuring and pay them $1 million a year damages. Now that's an apology.
Let me ask you this.
They were changing.
Let me ask you this.
They changed their policy. They can change it back. Go ahead.
Right. The founding fathers, they fought a bloody revolutionary war, and it was justified because of the tyranny. And we see right now, I mean, we have the same kind of tyranny. In some degrees, it's even worse. And we're seeing more. For example, did you know that Abomination had all of the chapels and the VA hospitals? We went in down here to see. He had all of the crosses and everything taken out. Anything that represents Jesus Christ, he had taken out of the chapels. This is a man of great, great sin. This is an antichrist. But anyhow, we are seeing tyranny. I mean, just, in some cases, much worse than what the founding fathers stood up against. Do you feel that it's another civil war is justified, or do you feel that, in fact, as Jefferson says, we have the responsibility. It's our call and our responsibility to stand up and, as the Bible says, to resist this tyranny. What do you think?
Well, that's not a question I can answer, especially right now going into trial.
Oh, I
personally have not been involved in any open rebellion or resistance, and would not, at least as I currently look at it. It would have to get, I don't know, maybe it can't get any worse, but I think our founding fathers did what was right, but that is not my calling. I'm a preacher of the gospel. I'm to go out and preach. And Jeremiah and Isaiah and Ezekiel did not get involved in overthrowing the king. They simply preached the truth. So I'm going to preach the truth loud and long until they kill me. And then I'll hopefully have my videotapes going around preaching the truth after I'm dead. But no, is it justified? That's something other people have to answer for themselves. Would I do it? Currently, absolutely not. But I would give an attaboy to those who did, probably.
Well, and we look at Hosea in chapter 8. He speaks about those kings that God did not raise up, that God did not choose, that God did not know. And well, let me just read it to you. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes or legislators, and I knew it not. And of their silver and their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. So that not what was happened here? Have we not put up kings that God knew not?
Well, no question, but King David had the same issue with King Saul, and he had two opportunities to kill him. And he said, no, that's God's problem. I'm not going to do that. So that is my mindset. This is God's problem. I do want God to take these people out of office, those that have come against me. I do want to see them fired and demoted. I do want to hear them say one day, Mr. Hovind, would you like fries with that? That's my dream, okay? If they don't need to have a job where they can hurt other people, that they currently do. But that should not, at least from me, be done with violence. I'm going to let God handle it like God did with Saul. And eventually, it's coming their way. But it's not going to come from me. I'll be like David. I'll let them know you're going against God, but I'm not going to handle it. Okay.
It's too bad that David didn't use the same judgment with Uriah the Hittite, huh? Well, yeah. Anyhow, so you're put in a situation there right now. Though God has placed you there, just like He did Joseph, and I don't have to tell you that. You're pretty well aware of that, and so He's using you in a very mighty way, and you know that, and so I guess we're just going to do like you've been doing, and that's just trusting in Him. And I know that
this call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
You're using that opportunity to preach the gospel and get that across. And I know you've reached a lot of people, a lot of men with that gospel since you've been in there. And
that's the goal, brother. Half the Bible's written for prison, so I'm in good company. I don't like it. I'm ready to go home. God's problem.
Well, absolutely. He's given you there, put you in a position. And again, I think the position is that you are to be like a light that shines upon the injustice and the corruptness in our government, aren't you?
Yes, sir. And that's really all Gideon had was light and noise, and the enemies fought each other. I'm praying specifically for that in this case. I want the U.S. attorneys and the Congress and the IRS to get in a big battle with each other. And I just want to go home and go back to preaching and being grandpa. But Gideon didn't have to go after those folks. They killed each other. And I think if the Congress would get involved and say, look, let's shut down this IRS, let's investigate this judge, and the judge would tell the IRS, get out of this courtroom, you're a witness, and the U.S. attorney would say, Judge, we're not going to prosecute this case. I hope they bicker and argue with each other till the cows come home and leave me alone. I didn't ask for any of this. I'm trying to go home and be grandpa. I've got an 8-year-old grandson I've never held in freedom. I think that's enough. I think that's wrong. I think our system needs to be looked at. We have created a monster, and the IRS is a big part of it, and they should simply be shut down. We don't need them at all. None of that money goes to pay our bills. It all goes to interest. But that's not my problem either. If there's a law and I'm supposed to pay something, I'll pay it, even if I don't like it.
Well, that's where the Bible teaches us very clearly that those that show mercy receive mercy. And you're in a situation, there's a lot people could do out there that's listening to you by going to your website, 2peter3.com or freekenthovine.com. And on there they can find out different ways they can do to help you. We've been writing letters, we've been making phone calls. This radio program, you're reaching a lot of people out there, and I know that they've been making their phone calls. So we're going to continue to do that. Let me ask you this. Your family, they live right there in Florida, right?
Yes, Pensacola, Florida, 25 miles. I'm in Milton, Florida.
Yeah.
At the county jail.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You can. I've got your address up here. I'm going to. Would you like to have me give your address out that you can, so folks can write to you? Or I know that you have answered a lot of letters, and you must get a lot of mail. I don't know how you have time to do it, but you have answered a lot of letters. And anyhow,
I think it's over 17,000.
That's just amazing.
Sure, yeah.
I'm ashamed of myself.
You want to give it out?
Well, I don't have it right here with me. I got it in my office. But go ahead, you can give it out.
Yeah, if they just write Kent Hovind, Hovind, at Post Office Box 7129, Milton, Florida, Milton, Florida, 32572. 32572. I'll answer them as quick as I can. It's such a blessing in here to get mail. So many guys in here don't. I've got several new converts that come to my 4 times a day Bible study that nobody writes them. It's the same address, just a different name. There's a young man who's in the top bunk right above me named Thomas Mitchell, who doesn't get any mail and just looks enviously at me every time I get a stack of mail every day, you know. So I led Thomas to the Lord a couple months ago, and he's really growing in the Lord. He's kind of like the Thomas in the Bible, in the despondent, melancholy, you know, the pessimist. He's only 30 years old, drug dealer. All he knows is drug dealing. But now he's saved, he's reading his Bible, he's growing, he wants to serve God. And so if somebody wants to help, write to Thomas Mitchell. He's my cellie, and he would be thrilled.
All right, Tom, I'm going to write that down. Thomas Mitchell. Yes, Mitchell. All right, yeah, we do have. Well, you know, we have a very large prison ministry here, the largest in Ohio. We have the largest death row ministry. And like you said, a lot of those guys don't get any mail. In fact, Ken, on several of those men, you know, we were the only visit they had in 20 years on death row. And so your family is there, and how often can they visit you?
Every Tuesday, but it's from 7 till 9 in the morning is the visit for this particular pod of our dorm. And you got to be here at 6:30 in the morning, which is, you know, with small kids to get off to school, and being 25 miles away makes it nearly impossible. When I was down in G dorm, the visits were 11 to 1 on Tuesday. And that was much better. They moved me out, never told me why, no reason. I've been moved 23 times in the prison system since I came in. And it's crazy. It's just the whole system. Well, read my book, The Kennel. I wrote a book about the prison system. It's called The Kennel. It's up on Lulu.com. I did it under a false name, Elijah Green, because I was in prison and thought they'd get after me if they knew I was writing a book. But that really explains not only the evilness of the system, using a dog kennel as an illustration, but
you have 60 seconds remaining.
A lot of practical things. America has the largest prison in the world, and only 5% of the population, but 25% of the prisoners. It's a money-making racket, and it should be shut down. I'll write back, and I'll give you some ideas on that if you want, brother.
Okay, all righty. Go ahead, right ahead.
Right.
Okay. While he's calling back, I want to remind you folks again about tomorrow. The Jug Honey Right to Life presents the sweeter side of life. Danny Ray live in concert. And as I was saying before, what if you were to find out that there are homegrown jihadists with 35-plus training camps right here, and they're training to make war, training to put you under Sharia law. And when the governor of Colorado asked the FBI to move in and shut them down, guess what? They were told, we were ordered not to. We were ordered to stand down. That's happening now. Do you understand? Do you understand that you have a czar, a dictator, that who feels right now that he is in complete power, and that Congress is powerless to stop him, that the Supreme Court, that they're all powerless to stop him? Do you understand that? Who have you been listening to? So you're going to find that out. We're going to be showing that DVD tomorrow, the Lord's willing. And the location is the Parkside Warehouse at 3200 Solon Road in Solon, Ohio. It starts at 11, goes to 5 p.m.
Link.
Alrighty, we have Dr. Hovind back with us. Go ahead, Kent, and pick it up with what you were saying there. So those ideas.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, there's a couple of simple fixes to this prison problem. One is Congress should pass a law that says no lawmaker, no judge, no U.S. attorneys, no one involved in law enforcement should be allowed to own stock in the prison system or profit in any way. There's a whole industry here, prison industries, where somebody makes our uniforms, somebody cooks our food, there's a whole company that transports people around the country. And so If there's lack of business at the moment, well, hey, let's just move 20 prisoners from A to B so these guys keep their job. Well, that should be wrong for anyone involved in law enforcement to profit also on the backside by owning stock or profiting from the prison system. I think at the beginning of every trial, every judge and every attorney should be required to put a public affidavit stating whether or not they own stock in the prison system or profit in any way. Is part of their 401k retirement program funded by prison industries. If so, you shouldn't be on this case. You shouldn't be a judge at all. You shouldn't be a prosecutor at all. They should take its love of money, root of all evil, 1 Timothy 6:10. So it is just insane. The prison system, and it started really in the early 70s with Rockefeller in West Virginia. And people, Barbara Bush is a great profit maker from our prison system. And it was one of the Bush people in Florida here that's responsible for part of my persecution, is what I've heard. That needs to all be exposed. I have nothing to hide. I want a full disclosure. I want a full investigation. But unless Congress gets 10,000 letters from angry people, they won't do anything.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
It's prison for profit is all it is. And they need to read my little booklet, The Kennel. It's only 48 pages. And it'll summarize it all down and say, whoa, that's how it's done. Yep, that's how it's done. And it's on Lulu.com. I've never seen Lulu.com. But you can go to 2peter3.com, and I think it's linked there to get my little booklet, The Kennel. And I would make... I'm embarrassed as a Christian that it took me... I had to come to prison to see this obvious truth. But God's Word never authorizes prisons at all. The only prisons in the Bible are done by heathen.
I can't believe this, but you're the only person. I've been in the prison ministry now for 44 years. 44 years I've been going to the prisons, and you're the only preacher besides myself that has said that God never gave us incarceration as a form of punishment. Incarceration only was until you had a trial, and then the swift punishment. So finally, after all of these years, you're the only other person that I know of that's ever said that to me.
Well, that's embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, I've read the Bible many times. I've been a Christian 46 years, and how did I miss that? In the Bible, you get a fine or a beating or executed. There's a certain percentage of the people in our prisons that should have been just executed. If somebody rapes your daughter, she does not need to be forced to feed him for the next 20 years, and then when he gets out of prison, she has to worry about him coming to find her again. No, she needs to watch him get fried and then go spit on his grave every day if she wants to until she can heal up emotionally. This is cruel and unusual punishment to lock people up for long periods of time. It's wrong. It needs to be stopped. I've asked hundreds of guys here as I do devotions and sit and talk with them, and I say, if you were offered the option, do you want 5 years in prison or 20 lashes? A, which would you take? Unanimously, they take the 20 lashes. B, which would be cheaper for society? Unanimously, with the 20 lashes. It's over in one day. B, which would be a better deterrent for you not to do that again? Whoa, the lashes. And in the Bible, you had to get your lashes right there in front of the judge. You lay down, and they give it to you right there in the courtroom. That's the way it ought to be.
Yeah, but you're just trying to take away all of the money and the job security for all of these lawyers out there. I mean, we only have 70% of the world's lawyers here, and you don't want them to be able to live such a lifestyle. You want to use the Bible. You want to do what's lawful instead of what's legal. So didn't Jesus say, woe unto you lawyers, woe unto you lawyers, woe unto you lawyers?
Well, keep reading. It says, you bind heavy burdens grievous to be borne. Brother, sitting in jail for 100 months is a burden that is grievous to be borne. You're talking to a man who understands that.
I hear you.
They should shut the whole place down. If they committed a crime bad enough, they should be executed. I don't think we have to do exactly what the Bible says in these laws. Maybe we should, but we certainly should make that our model. why on earth do we have prisons at all? If someone steals something, they should pay back 4 times, and everybody goes home happy. You steal my sheep, you pay back 4 sheep, I would be happy. Come steal another one. I'm going to get 4 more.
Right. Well, I used to teach biblical law, and I still do now and then. And God gave us 5 points of biblical law, to where He gave us the divine institution of real law, which is genuine. What we have today in America is a perversion of what God gave us. And those points were made. The first point was this: to whom did He give it? Well, you find that in Genesis chapter 9, as you know, verse 9, verse 12, and 15 and 16. He gave it to all mankind for perpetual generations, all living, and that spanned at every dispensation period. The second point was simply the intent. Man was to govern for God. That was the idea. Man was to govern for God. But the third point was the most important point, and that was the entire purpose, and that was to preserve the image of God, that being man. The first 4 verses, He gives you, verses 1 through 4, God gives mankind dominion over the environment, not Al Gore, not Obama, not the EPA or the IRS, but man, humanity. But in verses 5 through 7, He keeps dominion of man for Himself. Therefore, whoever takes the life of an innocent person has to forfeit his own. And then, of course, number 4 was the means by which man was to govern for God. God's laws, God's statutes, God's covenants, God's promises, all of these things. And then the 5th point was those people and those nations that were in compliance with the first 4, well, they would be at peace and not at war with God. Not too many nations at peace with God nowadays, are there?
None, probably none that I know of.
But you are absolutely right on that when you're talking about this. God never gave us incarceration as a form of punishment. But He allowed, too, for mercy, like you said. And what we have is legal, not lawful. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it's an evil system from start to finish. This punishes the wrong people. How many marriages break up because of this? How many children? The greatest child abusers on the planet right now is our own government by locking up the dads away from the family. I would completely stop the war on drugs.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Never taken drugs and never will. But the government has no business being involved in a war on drugs. Our Constitution limits our government to some very specific things. If we just followed the simple Constitution, our federal government would be about 5% of its current size.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yep. So when I become king, things are going to change. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you've got my vote, okay, as king. Obama won't like that. He likes holding the office of king all to himself. But, go ahead.
Well, I am not a lawbreaker. I love the Lord. I love my family. I love the ministry. I love my country. I love our Constitution. I think people that look honestly at this case better look in the mirror and say, whoa, this is going to happen to me. What am I going to do? I've tried, even from prison, to be a good grandpa, which is a little tough by remote, but I've written quite a few stories for my grandkids. I would encourage people to look at my 3-book series I wrote for my grandkids called The Long Trip and The Colorado Adventure and The Long Trip Home, where I try to teach them to be soul winners. If you've never led anybody to the Lord and want to learn how to be a soul winner, that'd be a good place to start. That's on Dr. Dino, or on 2peter3.com or Lulu.com. So I still am trying from prison to be an effective witness. I've led about 700 men to the Lord. I try to disciple them. We have Bible study 4 times a day, and they're growing, and it's wonderful and exciting. And it's a needed prison ministry. But the whole prison complex needs to be exposed. Just expose shine the light, make a lot of noise, and say, folks, what are we doing? Does your congressman own stock in this system? Does he profit? Ask him. He ought to get 10,000 calls tomorrow saying, hey, do you own, or does your family own, or does any of your staff own stock in the prison system? If you passed a law that said you can't wear blue on Friday and passed another law that said you have to wear blue on Friday, now you've got a real source of income because everybody can be locked up. You're going to have to do one or the other. There's a book out called 3 Felonies a Day that the average American commits 3 felonies every day. There's so many crazy laws out there. The other big question people need to look at is exactly who does this law apply to? Where is Congress's authority? Are they stepping outside the box? Do they have authority not on federal lands? That's another issue that I'm sure not an expert on, but that needs to be looked at. So I hope my case is a catalyst to get people to come together and say, whoa, it's time to make some major changes. This is a money-making, and you can always look at 1 Timothy 6:10. The love of money is the root of all evil. What they're doing is evil, locking dads away from their kids. If the dad is dangerous and a vicious serial killer, well, then execute him. If he's a rapist, execute him. If he's a kidnapper, kill him. It's real simple. Follow God's laws, and it would be a wonderful society, and it's going to be for 1,000 years. When Jesus rules and reigns, he's going to have a rod of iron. What on earth does he need the rod of iron for? Well, some people, that's the only language they speak. My dad said some people listen through their ears and some people listen through their nose. You have to smack them in the nose to get their attention.
Well, yeah, you're right in what you say about these judges. Let me ask you this. Do you think that one of the reasons that they're afraid of you getting out, do you think that they're whispering there in the back rooms, hey, if we turn this guy loose, he's got a platform, he's very well known, and he could do us a lot of damage. I mean, the judicial system has been so corrupted that they may fear that you might start a movement to do just what you said, that none of these judges or lawyers could own stock in the prison system.
Well, it's too late. They fired me up, so they're going to have to kill me now.
Well,
I'm going to expose it.
Yeah, well, don't give them any ideas because in that system, Now, here's another thing. I've often said many times on this radio program that everybody listening to me, you're only one false accusation away from prison. There are a lot of innocent people in prison. Over the years, Brother Hovind, I've seen so many innocent people who have been convicted, sent to prison, and then later on, we just got another guy just in the last couple of years, the third one off death row, who just got taken off of death row. He spent 20 years on death row. But I've seen two men who were sentenced for pedophilia, for abusing their children, and their children finally came forward afterwards and said it never happened. They were told by their mother that it
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Are you going to call back? Are you there?
I'll call back one more time. There's a whole line of folks waiting. I'm here, yes, sir. There's a whole line of folks waiting on the phone, but this is much more important. I want to get the message out.
Okay. Go ahead and call back one more time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Sure. That's Dr.Kent will be calling back here in a minute, and we got to get that message out again. In between these times, there's a lot we're going to be talking about. He will be here with us one more time for the next 15 minutes, and then we have a lot to cover tonight. So again, I want to just remind you all about tomorrow for you folks in Northeast Ohio, from 11 to 5 p.m. At the Sweeter Side of Life, singer Danny Ray, and we're going to be watching that film also that talks about the homegrown jihadists. They're here now. It's happening right now. You really need to know what's going on out there. And we're living in those days, folks, the here and now that the Bible talks about. So Dr. Hovind should be back with us at any time, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Judge Roy Moore here. We need more. An article by Bob Owens, an old friend I haven't talked to in a long time. Is he back yet? He's not back yet. Hopefully mean, it's been a tough week out here. So many of us in the ministry have had a rough time, and I've had a rough time trying to keep my voice. It's been a tough winter on us old people already. I've had enough winter already. Is Dr. Hovind back yet? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's yep. He's calling in right now. He'll be with us in just 1 second. And U.S. City spies on churches and demands license, folks. The persecution is here. We're going to be taking a look at that, along with Democrats will plunder average families for over $10,000 this April. That's right. They're going to rip you off again. And all right, we're back.
Brother. Hey, well, everybody's upset. There's a long line waiting on the phone, so let's cut this short, but they're getting pretty angry here. There's only 3 phones and 49 guys. I'm in a pod designed for 32 guys. There are 11 guys sleeping on the floor. This is a money-making racket. It's evil what they're doing. Please help me shut this down. They should all go home and have their own phone at home. They should not be fighting over 3 phones in here. So it's a sad miss. Can we call another night, brother, and do another program?
Yeah, we can set you up. Well, whatever you want. Do you want to do it? Do you want to go for, say, well, is it possible you could do Tuesday night?
Set it up with Rudy, and I'll call, okay?
All right, I will do that. And,
thank you so much, brother.
God bless, and thanks for being here. Okay, we'll set it up with Rudy. God bless, and we'll keep you in prayer.
All right, thank you, brother. Bye-bye.
Thanks, now. Bye now. Folks, there you go, Dr.Kent Hovind. He's got a whole line of guys wanting to get on the telephone that they're behind him, and I can understand why he'd want to hurry up and get off the phone. So, and these guys ought to understand he's trying to do them some good too. It's not like most people think. It's just not what's happening today, and we have so much corruption now. It's like everything else. We have some very, very good people in the judicial. I know some very good and some very honest and upright judges, praise the good Lord. I even have helped a couple prosecutors that were Christian prosecutors that were people that have not lost their integrity. Boy, and if there's any place in the office that I know of where it's easy to lose your integrity, and that's the office of prosecutor. I've come across so much corruption in my years with these guys. So we praise the good Lord that there's still some good, honest, and I just recently had some conversations with. We sent out to the police officers because the police department's letters from the Tea Party letting them know, especially after what happened in Ferguson and the way that the Obama regime was coming down against the police departments. And we sent them letters from